to help you determine where you are and where you want to be, and figuring out what is it going to take to get you to where you want to be. Now, I know that we live and work in a very busy world. It's very easy to get overstimulated or overwhelmed. However, if we are in a sales position or we are building a company, we need to make sure that as sales VPs or sales representatives, founders, CEOs, that we are able to determine with clarity, preferably laser lucid clarity, what it's going to take to get us to where we want to be. Now, obviously, if we have a team that we are, you know, attempting to build, to motivate, to train, we have to be mindful of the fact that we don't have time to waste. I've done over 4,500 coaching sessions since 2014. And as you can imagine, this is no surprise. But the people that take action consistently are the ones that get the results. They get to where they want to be. And in most cases, they exceed their expectations. The ones that don't get to where they want to be are not taking action. They're not the doers, and they're not going to get those results. Chances are, okay? And maybe they may get the results sometimes, but if they're not consistent with their marketing efforts, with their sales efforts, then it's going to be peaks and valleys. You may say, how do I know this? Well, I know this because I started my healthcare business in 2008. Mhm. For those of you that were living, existing, and breathing in that time, right? I think that you can relate that that is when the market crashed. Real estate was upside down, and I decided that I was going to start a business in August of 2008. Now, I was starting a business that had to do, that was in healthcare, like I said. But I wouldn't say that, it was inflation proof by any means. Okay. However, it was in a segment of the market that if people had money, because it is private pay. So if they had the funds to pay for the private duty caregiving, then everything was great for them, right? Because they obviously had a need. This was the service that we provided in most cases, 98% of the time, was not reimbursable through insurance. There were some exceptions, but the way that the laws are written, it required the clients to privately pay the caregiving agency, and then the clients request the reimbursement if it was reimbursable from either their private insurance or long-term care insurance. But like I said, 98% was people that were choosing to privately pay for care for their loved ones. So I started this in 2008. There were lots of things going on, obviously, around the world. I was a little bit, isolated. I had my blinders on, which was actually a good thing. I stopped watching the news on a regular basis actually back in the 90s when I first moved out to Chicago. So I was, in a little bit of, like I said, a guarded position because I wasn't paying attention to all the negativity, to all the things that were going on, to all the scary things going on around me, and I just focused on building building out relationships and really nurturing the relationships that I already had. Now, I had to build a lot of new relationships. That was certainly on my list of doing whatever it takes. But I knew that I didn't have time to waste. And coming from a sales background, my version of cold calling, sorry, was either on the phone or feet on the street because I worked with AT&T. AT&T was my first real outside sales job. It was not easy getting that, because, when I graduated, I didn't have outside sales experience. I had retail sales experience. I had done my internship with the Limited. Obviously, that's a retail company. Was very well respected, but I was kind of in a corner. So I had to do whatever it took to break out of that and to be able to get an opportunity to get an outside sales position. So, if anybody is in that situation, maybe recently graduated, or you're looking to transition into another position that is sales related, I can probably help guide you. But it certainly wasn't easy because since I had that retail experience, all like actually dating back to when I was 16, I worked in another retail establishment before the Limited. So I kind of got myself in that corner, right? And it took a lot to get myself out of that and be able to even, secure the right job offer. I wanted something that had unlimited potential to earn commission. I wanted to be able to really experience that, and AT&T gave me that opportunity. But when I was building my territory with AT&T, because it was brand new, there were a limited number of people in my role. I had no choice, and I didn't care. I didn't mind. It wasn't, it's what I wanted to do, but it was feet on the street. So I learned I definitely had to be a doer in order to get to where I wanted to be. So it's when we find ourselves hesitating or resisting that can really send us into a tailspin where that's not where you want to be. So you want to be getting yourself in the mindset, in the belief that you need to take consistent action. But that doesn't mean that you need to be in a flurry of trying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. That can also actually get us to burnout and doesn't always lead to the outcomes that we're seeking. So, I promised today, in the limited amount of time that we have, uh, I promised that we would help you figure out, where you are, where do you want to be, and really, what is it going to take to get there? All right. So, if you have a blank sheet of paper, all right, I would like you to draw two lines down the paper. Okay. On the left hand side, I'd like you to put where you are. And I don't mean that physically, I mean, where are you from a numbers perspective? Maybe you're starting from zero. That's fine too. Doesn't matter. It is irrelevant where you're starting from, but you have to get super clear on where you are. Maybe you're at 2 million of revenue and you're looking to double that within the next 12 months. wherever you are from a numbers perspective, and it has to be clear. So on the left hand column, put where you are. Now, you can use this for a variety of different exercises. The one today that I'm trying to take us through has to do with, it's numbers based, but you could also adapt this if, let's say, you're in a non sales role, you're not carrying a quota, and you want to carry a quota, you can also use an exercise like this. So if you weren't going to put your revenue number down, then perhaps you could just put, where you are, what your position is, or, put mid-level manager looking to go to a sales role. Okay, then in the middle column, you are going to leave that blank right now. Okay, and I'll tell you, we're coming back to that. The right hand side of the column, you're going to put where you want to be. Okay, and I would like you to answer this 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months from here. Okay, so you're going to put this down. I know. I think I'm going to make some slides and uh, do another in-depth exercise with this. But for now, I'm just going to ask you to write it down on paper because this is really for you. I want you to get super clear on where you are and where you want to be. Okay, so I know you probably already guessed it. So the middle column is going to be about, what is it going to take to get you to where you want to be? Now, the reason why this middle column is super important is because, quite frankly, some of you are not willing to do what it takes to get you to where you want to be. I would rather you figure that out sooner rather than later. There's no need to waste time. Some of you are willing to do whatever it takes, and that's awesome. And I'm going to applaud you. I'm also going to applaud the people that are not willing to do whatever it takes. Okay. Because time is our most precious resource. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. However, if you're not doing things for the right reasons, or maybe you're just trying to make someone else happy besides yourself, you owe it to yourself to figure out what, where do you want to be and what are you willing to do to get there? I can feel and see the people's disappointment when they find themselves in a situation where they're spinning, where they're in some cases running their business as a hobbyist. They're running it as a hobby, something that they wanted to try, but kind of dipping a toe in, but not all in. In today's economy, you have to go all in. So, what that means is you're going to have to get super clear. And like I said, preferably with laser lucid clarity on what you are willing to do to get to where you want to be. Otherwise, it can lead to years and years of spinning, trying this, trying that. We all really just need one offer. Okay. If we are in, and if you're selling for an organization, you may have three, or you may have more than that. But really, we really only need to focus on one offer at a time, and then we can downsell or upsell from there. But one offer, not 10. And sometimes what I find is that, if we're not successful in attracting or converting the right clients, then perhaps we just haven't gone deep enough into, who are those clients that we serve, and, really getting super clear on which outcomes those clients are seeking. Because remember, if you are in a client facing role and you are looking to enroll clients into your company's program or sell services, you need to be the first person to enroll yourself, right? You have to enroll yourself or you have to believe in that product. If it's a pen, when I got into sales, that was one of the biggest exercises, having to sell a pen. I'd love to know if any of you did that. And I remember being super nervous because I was just super nervous. And, only got over that as I built my confidence. Now, yes, if I get on a stage, I'm gonna still be a little bit nervous. I get nervous sometimes when I do some of these lives, but I've done so many of the lives that I just have built up my confidence to know that I'm going to do my best. And my only expectation is to get on the lives and uh, be able to facilitate some kind of action or some kind of an aha that allows you to take the next step forward. Because remember what I said, the people that meet and exceed their expectations are the ones that are doing it. And they're not doing a bunch of different things. Yes, when you're first, if you're starting out in a new market or you're working with a new company, yes, you may want to go more broad. And but then once you figure out what is attracting and converting those clients in your organization with your process, then you want to double down, triple down into that and then evaluate and let some of the other things go. In a lot of cases, it's kind of like, with our social media strategies, right? With our social media strategies, we're evaluating the posts that get the most engagement. And then we are doubling down on those, expanding those, going deeper with those, and letting the other ones go. Okay. Because we can't just, like the old saying goes, just throwing spaghetti at the wall. That's not what we do with our messaging. That's not how we build a business, whether we're building our own or we're building someone else's, right? So I want you to uh, commit to writing down in your middle column, what is it going to take? What do you think? Because that's really what it matters. What matters the most. What do you think it's going to take to get you to where you want to be? And then let's see. I'm just going to say, why don't you DM me? I know that a lot of you have expressed interest in knowing what to say with discovery calls. So if let's say you are effective at attracting potential clients, then I've had many people message me and say, okay, now what? I've got a potential client. Now what do I do? So I want you to figure out, what do you think it's going to take to get you to where you want to be? Let's use the example of the numbers. If you're at 2 million, you want to double that. What do you think it's going to take? Now, I will put my link in if after you do that exercise, if you want to schedule a 15-minute session so we can figure out, review that, figure out where you are and where you want to be. Sometimes people are surprised because they're not that far away. It could just be a matter of doubling or tripling down some of their efforts and letting some of the other things go. Sometimes it's about letting team members go. And I know that's not always a pleasant subject to discuss. However, if that is the case, then it needs to be addressed. It's not something that we can consistently, just kind of brush under the rug and put another rug on top and hope that it takes care of itself. Because if you have a goal of doubling your company's revenue, then it's super important that you're consistent about the efforts and that your team is consistent about the efforts. I was leading a mastermind call today, and one of our thought leaders shared a phrase that I thought was just genius. And I would say his name, but I'm not going to say his name, but I do want to give him credit. And I'm going to message him and let him know that I was talking about him. His ears are probably burning. But he said that he mentioned how some people have sales prevention departments. And that is so true because in a lot of cases, organizations don't even realize that they have a sales prevention department that needs to be cleaned out and, you know, out permanently. But, that of course happens. Sometimes we have team members that maybe shouldn't be there. Maybe they shouldn't be in a client facing role. They're actually preventing the sales or preventing the growth of the company. We have to monitor our constraints. We have to mitigate risks. Those are not options. So here's your challenge. If you choose to accept it, figure out in your mind from what you know, what is it going to take to get you to where you want to be? And then if you would like, I will put my link in for a complimentary discovery call so that we can figure out what your best next step is. I want you taking consistent action to get to where you want to be. Or if you're one of those people that decide that you're kind of doing this for the wrong reasons, then let's figure out what it is you really want to do so you can get there. And you can get there with grace and ease. It doesn't have to be a big struggle. All right, let me know how you do. Okay. And also let me know if you have any other ideas, but I definitely am going to schedule a session. Maybe we'll do like even a workshop or a master class and get super clear on what questions to ask for a discovery call. Because I've talked to way too many people lately that have been so disappointed. They get so excited. Someone books a call and then it sometimes the person doesn't show up or they're not converted to a client. Maybe they weren't supposed to be your client, but we have to get clear on a process. What is your potential client journey? What is your client journey? We have to have a process and be able to effectively manage through that along with our teams, of course, so that we can have consistency in the way that we do things, right? The way that we attract clients, the way that we convert them. So I hope this was helpful. Please do let me know if you found value in this. And, there is much to be grateful for in the world that we live in. I know it can be sometimes overwhelming with technology. However, I mean, thanks to technology, that's why I'm able to sit and talk to you right now from where I am in Illinois, in the United States of America. So I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your week. Let me know how you're doing. And remember that you should be doing whatever it takes to get to wherever you're choosing to go every day, not just on Wednesdays. So let me know how you do with your challenge, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Goodbye, everyone.